Alright, here we are for our final round. This is a pretty decent hand. We have a little bit of early interaction. Brain Mag is not really interaction, but it can allow us to disrupt our opponent's curve. And we have Temple to allow us to dig a little bit to try and find some of our key spells. Satyr Wayfinder will also help us enable Murderous Cut, so it's not the best of hands, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it. It's kind of borderline. Alright. Bloodstained Mire. So my opponent Mardu, it's like the deck that I'd imagine is the most likely to include a Bloodstained Mire in it. I'm going to go ahead and bottom this. We're not interested in more mana. We have a lot of it already. Get the mountain. Maybe he just has fetch lands in some sort of red deck. Another Mire. Alright, don't know what's going on over there. Well, let's find out. I'm just going to go ahead and play a Brain Maggot. That seems like a reasonable option. The Brain Maggot into open red mana isn't necessarily the best because your opponent can just kill it. Well, I hope he just kills it with the ability on the stack. It doesn't work that way, actually. Ooh, this is actually fantastic. We get to take a Rabble Master, and he only has a Sarkhan. So we're gonna get. I hope. Let me make sure we're seeing an entire hand. Okay, we'll take the Rabble Master. So our opponent has Sarkhan in hand, which you can argue that maybe I want to take Sarkhan, but I think keeping him off curve here with the Brain Maggot is more important at this point. With the Rabble Master, I don't really have. I mean, I could Wayfinder next turn, but I can't even Wayfinder into cut. So I think it's more important to keep my opponent from getting Rabble Master going. We can leave him with Sarkhan, and hopefully we'll be able to overwhelm it once it actually hits. Buys us a little bit of time at least. So yeah, our opponent is Mardu. He played the Battlefield Forge here. It's going to be Chained to the Rocks or something. Yeah, there's a Chained to the Rocks. All right. So I actually need to play Wooded Foothills. Sack this. Get Forest, and we play the Satyr Wayfinder. Going to put 3 on our yard. We'll go ahead and take a Nykthos here. Yeah, we'll take a Nykthos here. And that leaves us with the ability to Murderous Cut first main phase before combat to kill his Rabble Master. And our hand is actually pretty bad now. We've drawn actually like several land since our opening hand, which has left us really light in action, and that Sarkhan is likely to be a big problem. Delve all of it. Can't really see what is and is not selected. Alright, there. Alright, Doom Make Giant's an okay draw. It's at least something, a card that can potentially impact the board. Our opponent doesn't really have anything that it's good against right now, but it's, an action card as opposed to nothing, which is what we had prior to that. So Sarkhan's going to come down and hit me in the face. And then we'll play Doomwig. I have a feeling I'm not going to win this game. My opening hand was pretty decent, I think, against some decks, but certainly not against one that has the flexibility of removal and significant threats as this. So I really don't know how exactly I want to be cyborg in this matchup, but I always feel like I want to cyber out mana. I feel like every game I'm playing, my mana situation is that I am flooded out. This looks like a Crackling Doom. It was in fact Crackling Doom. We got crackled and doomed. Hordling Outburst. So I'm dead. I have 4 land in my hand. Sarkhan is hitting me. I can't even cast Hornet Queen if I draw it. Commune. We'll commune into what? Alright, we're dead. We don't even hit anything good. I don't want to show my opponent more cards for my deck. That's one thing that is relevant to think about, is that, you know, you can be in situations where you know, maybe you can possibly win a game, but your chances are low enough that it is not clear that it's actually worth the information you're giving your opponent about your deck. So Farika seems like maybe it's good. These games seem like they may, they're not like real like long attrition type games necessarily. I feel like maybe about Nissa. Doomwake's okay. The deck does have like Hordely Outburst. Maybe sideboards it out. Brain Maggot seems horrible. Downfall seems good. Takes care of cards like Sarkhan as well as Butcher. Don't have really anything to interact with. Banishing Light or Chain to the Rocks, but we have this. I think this seems reasonable. Nissa's not great against Sarkhan. Maybe we want Thought Seizes in this matchup. We do have Whips. Maybe Thought Seize is good. I feel like I want to board out. I always feel like I want to board out mana. I feel like there's just so much mana in the deck. Board out an Elvish Mystic. My opponent's playing a deck that is actually very, very good at dealing with like ramped creatures. So I'm going to take out 2 Elvish Mystics. We're going to try this. It's a lot of removal, you know. I feel like the 8 mana creatures may just be too much for this deck to begin with. All right, so all right, my opponent is taking longer to sideboard. Oh my god, I need to blow my nose. I wish I had tissues around here. I don't want to keep like making horrible like sniffling noises into the microphone. I'll stay back here. Oh god, so gross. Allergy season. All right, we're gonna go ahead. We will play first. This hand is fine. We are missing black mana at the moment, but we do have a Satyr Wayfinder which can potentially find it for us. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this. I feel like Hornet Queen is probably pretty powerful in this matchup. You know, it's very good in any sort of game that's relatively attrition oriented, and Mardu is a deck that's, you know, it's very much a mid-range deck. It, you know, can play an aggressive game, can play an attrition oriented game, a longer game, but I feel like these games are more likely to come down to attrition than beatdown. Let's go ahead and get a Llanowar Waste and play Temple of Malady. We'll put this on the bottom. I think bottom. Well, next turn we can play. If we play it next turn, then we can play Hornet Queen the following turn. I guess I'll put it on top. Oh no, I can't. What am I thinking? I was thinking this could produce mana. Yeah, it gets me closer. Did they mill anything interesting? A Wayfinder. Alright. This guy's gonna die, huh? I have a feeling he's gonna die. Oh no, Seeker of the Way. Okay. That I don't mind. Go ahead and play Whip. Next we're going to whip back a Satyr Wayfinder and get a land. Hello? Talk about power. It also powers up my Murderous Cut, which is pretty good. Banishing Light. Oh, that's not what we wanted to see. Banishing Light taking out our whip is pretty unfortunate for us. That was going to be a pretty significant part of our game plan here. Ooh, Eidolon of Blossoms. That's speaking of parts of our game plan. And we will attack. So we can actually cast Hornet Queen.
Thank you very much.
Alright, sorry, I had to pause a moment there. So Seeker is coming in, played Hordling Outburst after Chain of the Rocks with my Eidolon. So we're just gonna take the hit here, and thankfully, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, thankfully we can still cast this Hornet Queen next turn. So my opponent has a bunch of answers, but we at least have a pretty good trump here. It's not really, ooh, there's another one too. Not really a trump necessarily to that Hordling Outburst, which is actually pretty powerful against what we have, but hopefully can slow him down at least. I don't really want to attack because I'd rather trade one of these off for a goblin than an insect, because insects are much more powerful. So Crackling Doom, okay, that that will kill our Hornet Queen and do 2 damages to us. Shira's freaking out because Natalie just left. And I'm fine. I don't want to take a bunch of damage here. I'll trade these off. I have a second Hornet Queen in my hand, so I'm not really worried about running out of action there. So hopefully my opponent doesn't have, well, if he had Bile Blight, he would have cast it. So I'm gonna leave the temple up. Chain of the Rocks. It's not super powerful right now against Hornet Queen. If I had a way to kill this Chain of the Rocks, it would be pretty bad for my opponent. What is this? Chandra, ooh, okay. Start trying to ping away my my insects. It's actually gonna kill one insect. I'm just gonna attack it now. Thoughtseize. He's 1 card. I don't know what it could possibly be, really, but it's not gonna get better. Ooh, Butcher. Okay. So I could kill this. I don't think I really want to, though. just going to kill Chandra with these. If he does attack me, then if he plays like a spell, I can like double block that. If he plays a spell, I can potentially murderous cut it. I've played 2 of my 3 Hornet Queens. They're the only cards in my deck that require these mana to play. Alright, and I'm totally fine with that trade. Temple of Malady. That's a good card. Hit you. I could play something like a Sarkhan, which would be pretty annoying. Shiro, again freaking out. Alright, so we win. So that worked pretty well. Definitely felt like, you know, the Hornet Queens were great, clearly. Hornet Queen was really powerful there. On the draw, I feel like I may want Elvish Mystic a little bit more, just because, you know, I want to be able to try and keep up if my opponent's playing a little bit more of an aggressive game. Nissa may just not be good. If my opponent has actually, it's pretty good against Chandra, too. I don't know, Nissa could be pretty powerful. My opponent did have Hordley Outburst still in the deck, so Doomwake Giant is a little bit better. I'm just going to go with this. I'm just going to submit as is. Do. My opponent is taking his time sideboarding. All right. So, my opponent is mulliganing. My hand's actually pretty good. We have potentially, I don't think that we want to play turn 1 Mystic, but we do have you know, Mystic Hero's Downfall, cut. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I mean, we could play turn 1 Mystic if we want, and then just play turn 2 Temple. It's probably actually fine. We do have Downfall that we may want to cast like turn 3, but I guess it doesn't matter whether we play Temple or Foothills turn 1. And sacking these actually makes it closer to casting Cut as it is. So, all right. We have an Urbark anyway, so forests are totally fine. Oh, my opponent said he couldn't cyber last game. And oh, for a second I thought like he just didn't take a turn or something, but I haven't taken a turn yet. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and play a turn 1 Elvish Mystic. So go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just play a Temple of Malady here. That's actually not necessarily clear that's what I want to do. If my opponent plays a Rabble Master, I kind of just want to be able to kill it with Murderous, with Downfall. Maybe I don't care about killing it with Downfall before he gets a token. Ooh, I want that. That makes Cut much better too, so. Well, my opponent doesn't have red mana yet too. It did mulligan, so it's possible that my opponent just doesn't have red. And he does not, so it's a little bit unfortunate for. Ooh, oh dear, this is great. I think I just want Whip here. Whip with Cornet Queen in the yard. It's pretty powerful. Maybe I take Eidolon, or I could just take Courser, or I could just take Queen. I think I probably want Whip. With all those in the yard, Whip seems really powerful, and there's fewer ways my opponent can deal with Whip than can deal with like an Eidolon or something. Could be wrong, but and I want to play a Swamp attack. Ugh, sorry. I really do apologize about the horrible, horrible sounds my sinuses are making. Alright, that's a pretty good draw as well. So we're going to start with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and play Foothills, sack Foothills, Forest, cast Eidolon. Opponent's not really doing anything this game, unfortunately, so it's not not really representative of all that much, other than that, you know, sometimes decks mulligan and don't draw their mana. Yeah, Outburst in, not worked again. So apparently it has some sort of difficulty. It's sort of weird. I had commented that I was, you know, a little bit surprised that he had Outburst in after sideboarding, and apparently, you know, just had it unintentionally. Right, whip it good. Sideboard cards certainly help. Alright, whip out a Hornet Queen. I don't know why this isn't attacking. I guess I'm going to Thought Seize him and play a Caryatid. I guess that's my plan. Ooh, I can actually generate so much mana. Alright, well, we won that. So, you know, our we did play 3 tournaments to get here, but we did win one. And, excuse me, ultimately, I don't know, I feel like the deck seems a little bit mana heavy. Certainly prone to drawers where you just don't really do that much. I feel like you probably want, you know, I mean, maybe my draws were just poor, and you know they were colored by, in my opinion, is colored by those specific, you know, small sample size of actual games. Granted, you know, the first match, or rather the second match I lost, I would have won game 2 if I hadn't been sort of rushing through and ultimately timed out, and then we could have seen how things would have gone after that. But you know, it certainly isn't really, you know, a deck that functions smoothly when it doesn't draw certain cards. So ultimately, feels a little bit unstable. Doesn't necessarily feel like the sort of thing that I might really want to play. The old version that I was playing, you know, of Constellation in the last format had Underworld connections, which went a long way toward giving you just sort of extra fuel. And I wonder if this sort of deck could use something like that, maybe Read the Bones or something, to give you a little bit more ability to specifically find the cards you're looking for. Anyway, I enjoyed the deck. You know, definitely can do some cool, some powerful things, and certainly pretty fun. But I think I'll be sticking to Teamer for my next event. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will be back with more videos. We'll try out some other decks and maybe just get back to Teamer sometime soon. But you know, for now, that's it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.